Good afternoon, everyone. This is YC from YC Cooks and Bakes. Today, I am going to be doing a tag video. The idea I received from the Life with Mike channel. I'm not going to be cooking or baking, and that is really kind of fine with me because in South Carolina we've had a lot of hot temperatures lately. We've had everything from 105 to 112. It's been really, really hot here. So it's not temperatures that you want to really cook in anyway. So I'm going to do this tag, and he said anyone that wanted to participate in it could, and it's what it is, it's your top 10 favorite entertainment things. You could do your top 10 movies, or even if you're not a movie buff and you just like watching regular TV, what are your top 10 favorite shows? Or you could do your, if you're a reader, would you like to do your top 10 favorite books? Whatever you would like to talk about. That's what you could just let everyone know. And then if they decide they may want to go read it or go view it and see it, and so it's pretty fun. And you know, there's so many movies out there that we've seen over the years, and there's no way you can see all of them, and I don't think any one goes over as better than the other. What I did, because it's so hard to choose because there's so many, I just chose the first 10 that came into my mind that I thought really stood out, that I enjoyed over the years. And I am going to try to put the link for the Life with Mike channel in my description, and I know a lot of you already know him. If you don't, I don't understand why. You need to go look at his channel. It is amazing. He has something for everyone. He truly does. You will be thoroughly entertained. It is really interesting, very interesting. Okay, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get on with this. And like I said, I did not put these movies in any kind of order at all. Okay, I'm going to talk about this one that I saw when I was really young, and it's always remained one of my favorite movies. For some reason, I think I just liked the music in it. It was way back in, it was in 1978. It was called Foul Play with Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase. And I just absolutely loved it. I mean, first of all, Chevy Chase is comical, right? And how comical is Goldie Hawn, right? When she gets scared and her eyes get really big and that. It was a hoot, let me tell you. And I love when she's driving along the coast in her car and you hear the Barry Manilow music. It just depicts the time really good, you know. I mean, right now we might go, you know, but for back then, it was a great movie. And I still see that little midget hanging on her windowsill. She's leaning over and beating him with a broom because she thinks he was after her, and he was just a shoe salesman. And it turns out it's a long story, but you might want to pull it up. It's called Foul Play, and these guys that were after her, she ducked into a bar one night to get away from these people that were chasing her, and she ended up going up to this guy, and she says, get me out of here. Do you have an apartment near here? And blah, blah, blah. And she went home with him. And he's thinking, oh, he's getting lucky, right? This girl wants to go to his apartment. Well, that guy was Dudley Moore. And you talk about hilarious. You know, Dudley Moore, if you know anything about him as an actor, he is a hoot. And the whole time she's at the apartment, she's closing the blinds and she's looking, making sure nobody's chasing her. And he thinks, oh, she's closing the blinds, I'm gonna get lucky. And he turns on this music and he starts dancing and getting all happy. And so your side is split and you're laughing so hard. I always loved that movie, Foul Play. Okay, and that was a comedy thriller. Okay, and another one that came to mind, and I mentioned it in one of my comments the other day to Life with Mike, was, you know, he said he likes a lot of Western action, and I do too. And my favorite is Pale Rider. And the reason I like Pale Rider is because he goes after these hoodlums, because it's a long story, but it involves a small mining town. These young folks, like, they're mining for gold, you know, and and they these guys that have a lot of money come along, this man, and he wants to buy up all their land. He's kicking them off of it, and he's going to let the water flow through there so their homes won't even be left and all that. And they're like, get off our land, And they're like, well, we were here first, we have the mining rights. And he says, no, I bought everything. I bought everything up, and you need to get out of here. And anyway, Clint Eastwood plays a preacher, and he comes through there, and he has to try and fight them off for the people in this little mining village. And it gets really exciting, but I like it because he doesn't have to fight them with bow and arrows, or doesn't have to fight them with guns. He does it with a stick. And that, if you do nothing else, see that scene where he just whips that guy's butt with a stick. He does all this stick action and then flips it up where the guy falls. It is amazing what he did, what they showed that he could do with a stick. Anyway, you got to see Pale Rider. Okay. And another movie that came to, and that, let me tell you something. Pale Rider was Western action, and it was in 1985. I wrote everything down so you'd know. And then I like Bird on a Wire with another Goldie Hawn movie and Mel Gibson, and it's comedy action. There again, I like action, but I like that comedy too, And Mel Gibson is in the witness protection program. They're trying to protect him, and but these men someone saw him, and he was exposed, and they said, I know you from such and such and such, and they started going after him. Well, he ends up in Goldie Hawn's apartment, and the rest takes care of itself. It is hilarious, and it's high paced. It's a really good movie. You can only imagine Mel Gibson and Goldie Hawn, it's really good. That was a 1990 Bird on a Wire. And isn't that what Bird on a Wire means? You've been exposed. You're a bird in flight, but we see you sitting on that wire. We see you. You're exposed, right? Okay. And then this next movie I want to talk about, and like I said, these are in no order, is Narrow Margin. And this is one of my all-time favorite actors. May he rest in peace. Gene Hackman. I'm telling you, this, if you are not totally engrossed in this movie, I don't know what to tell you. Takes place on a train, and what it is Anne Archer is in this movie, and she witnesses a murder and some things that happened, and Gene Hackman saw that she was looking. And he said, oh my gosh, she knows what happened. And he went after her. And she tries to hide out in the Canadian tundra. Oh my gosh, what a thriller. It's action-packed, but it takes place on a train going across Canada in the winter. It is absolutely amazing. I just love it. It just really keeps you engrossed. You're scared what's going to happen next, Okay. And then there's another one that is a good movie with Mel Gibson, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Kurt Russell. It is a thriller romance, and it's called Tequila Sunrise. It's a 1988. Like I said, Mel Gibson, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Kurt Russell, and it's a really interesting story too. It does involve, there is some sex in that, because look at the lineup, right? But anyway, you might want that, I don't know. And then I'll tell you another movie that I liked was The Transporter 3, and that was with Jason Statham and Robert Knepper. Now, you may not right off the bat know Robert Knepper, but I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as you see his face, you'll say, oh yeah, he makes a living at playing a bad guy, but he does a really good job at it. He does a fantastic job at it. He is in a lot of movies. And it's The Transporter 3. Now, there's many Transporters, but it's the third one that I like because it's an action thriller. It's 2008, and Jason Statham drives his car onto the train. I must be. It's something about trains. I love train movies, but it's action packed. How he gets him, it's unbelievable how he ends up going after him and killing this bad guy. Jason Statham drove that car on the train, and it just, it was definitely a thriller. You've got to see it. I've never seen one show that kind of a scene that well before. They did a it must have had some fantastic stuntmen. They did a super job on that movie. Out of all of them, the Transporter 3 is the one that I liked. Okay, and another movie is, and this is a Western action, and I think Michael will agree with me on this, and it's called 3:10 to Yuma. And it's Russell Crowe and Christian Bale and Peter Fonda. You remember Peter Fonda? How many of you out there remember Peter Fonda? Right? I'm going to tell you what. Oh, if 3:10 to Yuma, it's a great Western. And if you are not on the edge of your seat the whole time through this movie, you're not watching 3:10 to Yuma. It is action-packed. And it's guns. And you're thinking, oh, Westerns, pow, pow. It's not like that. It's not like the old form of Gene Autry movies where they're moving their hand as it shoots with the gun. No, you have got to see 3:10 to Yuma. If you've not seen a good Western, see that one. You will be on the edge of your seat the whole entire time. It is action-packed. Okay, I know I keep repeating myself, but I really mean it. It's a 2007. Okay, and also another movie that really comes to mind is The Equalizer with Denzel Washington. I also like him in Training Day, but I like The Equalizer. It's an action thriller. It's a 2014, and he was a Black Ops commando, and he decides, he's going to retire. I want to leave that part of my life alone now. I don't want to do any more killings. I don't want to, I'm not in it like this anymore, He actually faked his death to get out of it. Because once you're in that kind of line of work, they're always saying, we need you, you got to do this, you got to look like a mercenary, right? And so he faked his own death. Ends up working in a hardware store that looks a lot like Lowe's or like a Home Depot, but it looks more like a Lowe's because it's all blue and gray and white, And anyway, he gets an apartment so he could just have a slower life, And he goes to this diner every day, and he starts noticing things in his neighborhood and places where he eats and the hardware store, all these crimes. And he starts to find out that these crimes are by like the same head guys that keep having these crimes done so they could get money and get rich off the people that live in this area, in that area. There goes, I moved the curtain so you could see. Hold on one second, and I'll put it back up in case you're having a hard time seeing me. Hang on. Okay. Well, if it does it again, we'll just have to see. I have the ceiling fans on. That's making the curtain move. But I pulled the curtain aside so you could see me, and because we've been keeping them closed a bit, keep the room dark and cool because it's so hot here. Anyway, so we were talking about The Equalizer, which is an action thriller in 2014, and like I said, he retired. Well, he faked his death to get out of former Black Ops commando, and he sees all these crimes happening, and he has the knowledge to get rid of these guys so that the people can finally have some peace in his neighborhood, at different businesses that he has noticed these crimes happening, even in his own hardware store that he's working at, where he's trying to take a nice retirement with, and he's fed up, he's tired of it, and he does something about it. And I'm gonna tell you what, when you are done watching that movie, The Equalizer, you will never look at a hardware store the same way ever again. To this day, I'll walk through a Lowe's and say, oh, Denzel, he can use that, it's crazy. You've got to see it. It is really suspenseful, too. Okay, and another one, speaking of suspense, it's another action thriller. Can you tell I like action thrillers? Okay, this is a 2008, and it's with Liam Neeson. It's called Taken, and it delves in that human trafficking, like with young girls and all that. And he plays Liam Neeson plays a retired CIA agent, and his daughter goes on a vacation. I don't know if it was her spring break or some kind of vacation from her schooling, and she goes to France with a friend. Well, you can get captured in France very easily. As soon as you go somewhere where you're a tourist, where you don't dress, look, talk, and act like the people who are already there, you stick out like a sore thumb. They can see you a mile away. And so these guys followed them and ended up breaking into the little apartment where they were staying to vacation in. And of course, him being a retired CIA agent, she calls her dad. She's like, "Dad, they're coming after me. They're coming after me." And so he said, "Okay." He said, "Get under the bed. That will buy us some time. Now you listen to me." He said, "They will take you." He knew they were going to take her. He said, "They will take you. Listen to me carefully. The next 10 seconds will depend on your life." He said, "Remember every single thing about them, what their smell is, what their accent is, how tall they might be, how do they sound, did they smoke, do they have a tattoo? Remember every single detail about them that you can remember." And he's asking her to do this because, and then I think she even had a piece of paper where she was writing stuff down and then just leaves it behind so he can go back to that apartment and see it and then track these guys down. If I'm not mistaken, that's how it went. It was a long time ago I saw it. It was a 2008. But anyway, he ends up going after these guys and getting his daughter back. And I shouldn't have told you that. But it doesn't matter. How he does this is utterly, it's unbelievable. And what he can do with a simple kitchen light switch will blow your mind. And I don't mean just regular, oh, he made it spark, or no, you have got to see this movie Taken. Liam Neeson is really, and you've heard it, people joke about him leaving those messages on their phone. I have a few good skills. I will come for you and I will kill you. You ever see, the little phone phone message he leaves? He did that in the movie. That's why they use that as a phone message. He leaves that for those guys that he's going after. Okay. Let's see. And I think I only got one more. I think I went through all of them. I hope I didn't leave any out. So there's one more, and I looked at my paper, and it's like mostly either Western, comedy, and they're all action thrillers, right? So I decided to go way off and pick one that I liked that was like not any of them. And I picked a musical horror, and that would be one that I own, and it's called Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. And that's, of course, with Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. And it is an amazing film. If you've not seen it, you've got to see it. You have got to see it. You just really, really do. That's a 2007. It is, I'm telling you, it's really interesting. It'll keep you engrossed. You'll love it. It's not one of those music like where they go out in a field of flowers and start singing. It's not like that. You've got to see this. It's gruesome. My husband doesn't like it. He'll sit there and watch stuff from Hitler, and he don't want to watch this. But it's quite gruesome. The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Okay. Now, that was my 10 that I just chose out of the top of my head that I thought were really good movies. But very, very, very quickly, I will read some that my family loved that I don't necessarily think were my favorite, but my family always seems to watch them, and they always love them. Everybody has those in the family, right? How many times have we heard people where they always want to see the same thing over and over? With my family, it's Richard Gere, Officer and Gentleman. It's Armageddon, okay? It's Apocalypse Now, Independence Day, Gone in 60 Seconds, right? And Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's Gladiator with Russell Crowe, and all, of course, all the Fast and Furious drift movies, you know, like Tokyo Drift and all that. All of those, they love all of those, you know, with Paul Walker and all them. Um, they love. My husband's favorite is Apocalypse Now, I think, you know, and the kids, they. My oldest son, I know his favorite was Gone in 60 Seconds, uh, and with Nicolas Cage, right? Yeah, who's really the nephew of oh, what's that? Francis Ford Coppola is his uncle, and Nicolas Cage, really his real last name is you know, Coppola. It is a lot of Ford Coppola. A lot of people don't know that. Okay. Anyway, that is my list of movies. I hope you get a chance to see some of them. If I had to, if someone said, you know, pick one that you want them to see no matter what, I would say Narrow Margin with Gene Hackman. See that one. You'll really enjoy it. And he's no longer with us. And I would love for you to see Narrow Margin with Gene Hackman. And that is my list of my 10 good favorite movies off the top of my head. And I hope that you guys will give this a try. If I want to pick someone to do a list like this, if I had to pick two names, I might pick Shelley Edwards. You can do it if you'd like to try, if you have favorite movies or favorite books. And also, how about Sassy T and her husband 7-Up? I think they would have fun picking out their favorite movies. You know, maybe, I know she's really into Halloween. Some of them might be some of those movies. Yeah, that's a whole, those are series, and a whole bunch of series with a Halloween there. Okay, so I hope everybody has a good day. Try to stay cool if it's hot where you're at. It certainly is here. It's very hot. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.